briefly. The love. Jesus said, do what? Love the Lord your God with all your might, all your soul, and all your mind. That's number one. Number two is the first one is like that one. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. So what we looking at is we looking at love. So you got to enter with love. Whatever we got going on, it consists of love. First it said love God a certain way, and then it says love your neighbor as yourself. And it's something that I'm still working on. And a lot of times when you love your neighbor as yourself, they begin to try to take advantage of you. They begin to start thinking that you weak or thinking that they can run game on you. But he's saying love your neighbor as yourself, meaning the same thing you'll do for you, you do for somebody else. So if you about to eat, then they eat too. If you about to do this, they do this too. So it's saying the exact same way you love yourself. But it says love yourself as well, right? So the first thing said love God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. And then the second was love your neighbor like you love yourself. So you got to love God, you got to love yourself, and you got to love your neighbor. See, it still come back to three, huh? God, yourself, and your neighbor. You got to love everybody. Who is my neighbor? Your neighbor is anybody who lives on this earth. Right. Anybody who lives on this earth is your neighbor. So don't consider just the person who stay next door to you as your neighbor. Your neighbor can be anywhere. So we have to get that understanding, because a lot of people just be like, well, I help my neighbors that's right next door to me, but you don't help nobody on the other side of town. Come on. Or I just deal with the south side. I don't go on the north side. And a lot of my friends do that. And when we was growing up, that's how we felt. But it's a new time. Jesus say go everywhere to the highways and byways. So you got to go everywhere and spread the message. And the message still got to come back to love. So when you say love God with all your soul, all your might, and all your mind, that means you got to keep your mind on God. That means when you going through hard times or you going through different situations, you got to talk to God. You got to consult God. You know, like you always probably have your kids, you want your kid to talk to you about anything as a parent. So like whatever they going through, you want them to come to you and come to you first. So when they come to you, then you help them figure it out, and then y'all work it out, and that's that. And it's the same way with God. That's what he's talking about when he's saying love them like this. Like you love him so much that you consider him before you do stuff. So you consider your parent, God is your parent. You consider God before you do stuff. You pray on the situation before you make that move. That's what it's saying when you love them like that. And when you love them like that, then people can't get you out of character so easily and so fast. Because your mind is on God. Not your mind is on the enemy or your mind is on whatever. Because a lot of times we start daydreaming and our mind be lost. Your mind have to be on God. And it said love them like that. So when you love them like that, guess what? He'll give to you freely. And then you will have this free gift to give to other people. And it's love. Like everywhere you go, you'll be able to light up the room because you're walking with God's love. And like I said about loving yourself, you must love yourself. Yeah. You can't love nobody else if you don't love yourself. Okay. And a part of not loving yourself is like saying you ungrateful to God for how he made you. You can be ungrateful with yourself, how you allow things to go, but at the same time, you should still love yourself because God allowed you to breathe every day. God loves all his children. He loves all his plants. He loves everybody on the creation. So he wants you to have that self-love, and then you pour that love into the neighbor or into the next person. And it just keep going on and on. That's what I have, Pastor.